12th here in Seoul, and I'm Kim Dami. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. Starting with President Yoon Suk-yeol's state visit to Kazakhstan. The South Korean leader is now in Kazakhstan as the second stop of his Central Asia trip. His mission is to stretch out the two countries' collaboration across various sectors, including energy and infrastructure. The World Bank predicts the world economy to stabilize this year, expanding 2.6%, but also warns a growing protectionism may get in the way. The South Korean national football team crushed China in their final match of the second round of the Asian qualification for the 2026 World Cup. Tuesday's victory keeps the Taeguk Warriors at their third highest ranked Asian team in the FIFA rankings. A 4.8 magnitude earthquake struck at 8:26 a.m. this morning near Buan County of Jeollabuk-do Province in southwestern South Korea. It's the biggest quake to occur here on the Korean Peninsula this year. We'll bring you more details in our later newscast. Now, moving on, President Yoon Suk-yeol touched down in Astana on Tuesday ahead of a sit-down with the leader of Kazakhstan. Their summit is expected to include discussions on a broad range of measures for comprehensive cooperation. Our Oh Soo-young reports.
President Yoon Suk-yeol will aim to strengthen South Korea's critical minerals supply chain as he pays a visit to Kazakhstan, the second stop of his state visits to 3 Central Asian countries. On Wednesday, President Yoon will hold a summit with President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, with their discussions expected to focus on sectors like energy, infrastructure, and critical mineral supply chains, given Kazakhstan's abundance of mineral resources such as uranium, chrome, and zinc. Such minerals are key components for South Korea's high-tech export items, such as semiconductors. But the resource-poor country lags behind other advanced economies, owning only 36 mineral mines compared to the United States' near 2,000 and Japan's 134, according to the Korea International Trade Association's analysis. Yoon will also aim to support Korean companies in securing projects in the energy sector in Central Asia's largest oil-producing country.
Korean companies have been involved in various sectors in Kazakhstan, including energy infrastructure and manufacturing. President Yoon's visit aims to deepen existing economic cooperation and broaden the scope to strategic areas, such as alternative energy, climate change response, and scientific and technological collaboration.
Following the summit, the two sides will ink deals at a signing ceremony and hold a joint press conference, followed by a state luncheon. After the official events, President Yoon will participate in the Korea-Kazakhstan Business Forum and deliver a keynote speech. Kazakhstan is South Korea's largest Central Asian partner, with the two nations having established a strategic partnership in 2009. Ahead of his state visit to Astana on Tuesday, President Yoon said in an interview with local media that he expects his visit to further enhance their ties based on their complementary industrial structures and the deep relationship of trust built through successful cases of cooperation. He added that Seoul will support Kazakhstan's efforts to ramp up its digital industry, especially in artificial intelligence, and promote further human and cultural exchanges, noting how 120,000 ethnic Koreans reside in Kazakhstan. Also, as Yoon promotes his regional initiative to deepen engagement with Central Asian countries, he lauded Kazakhstan's world-class example of denuclearization, as the country closed down its Soviet-era nuclear facility and voluntarily dismantled a large number of nuclear weapons after independence.
Having launched South Korea's first ever regional strategy for Central Asia, President Yoon said the goal of his K-Silk Road initiative is for the two sides to grow together in innovation and companionship as they both seek to bolster freedom, peace and prosperity. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News, Astana.
And President Yoon's Central Asia trip is all about tightening partnerships with the countries there. Strategically located connecting Europe and Asia, Seoul sees plenty of opportunities in the young, growing region. Our Kim Jung-sil has more.
Central Asia, an ancient center of global trade and commerce through the Silk Road connecting Europe and Asia, is again growing in importance because of its strategic location, resources, and high growth potential.
Central Asia is a critical strategic location and land of opportunity. As global resource cooperation has become more important than ever, Central Asian countries are our key partners with their abundant resources, such as natural gas and key minerals.
Kazakhstan, for example, has deposits of a range of rare minerals, and Turkmenistan has the world's fourth largest natural gas reserves. Uzbekistan has several rare metals, including gold and molybdenum, as well as oil and gas. Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan have abundant hydroelectric resources thanks to their high altitudes. Seoul plans to deliver official development assistance in these countries to bring innovation and digitalization in public administration. The high growth potential of the region based on its young demographic cannot go unnoticed. 30% of the total population of those 5 countries is under the age of 14. With many ethnic Koreans still living in Central Asia, the government also hopes to strengthen people-to-people exchanges.
The vision of the Silk Road Cooperation aims for the freedom, peace, and prosperity of South Korea and Central Asia. We hope to pursue shared prosperity while tackling global challenges together based on universal values while promoting peace in the region.
Seoul says with its technological abilities and the growth potential of Central Asia, the 2 regions can create even greater synergies by working together. The government plans to strengthen high-level communication with Central Asian countries and plans to hold the first summit next year. Kim Jung-sil, Arirang News.
Washington's top envoy to Seoul says the U.S. remains ready for anything that could happen on the Korean Peninsula amid heightened tensions between the 2 Koreas. During a podcast hosted by the Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies, U.S. Ambassador to South Korea Philip Goldberg criticized the North's sending of balloons carrying trash across the border, calling it outrageous and counterproductive to reducing tensions on the peninsula. Goldberg stressed that the U.S. is ready for anything that happens, adding that Washington is not letting its guard down as the regime is very unpredictable. The diplomat further stressed that 28,500 strong U.S. versus Korea troops are evidence of the U.S.'s long-term security commitment to South Korea. The World Bank has raised its global growth forecast for this year on strong U.S. expansion. But the upgrade also came with a worrying outlook for developing nations. Our Kim Bo-kyung has the details.
A rosier global growth outlook for this year. The World Bank has projected the global growth outlook for 2024 to be at 2.6%. Expecting the global economy to stabilize for the first time in 3 years. This is an upgrade from its previous prediction of 2.4% made in January, and the agency further expects global growth to edge up to an average of 2.7% in 2025 and 2026.
We see after 3 years consecutive weakness in terms of growth, we will see stable growth this year. Growth is going to be around 2.6%. And in fact, next year we are expecting a little bit of a pickup.
After a long slump due to COVID-19, the global economy has been expanding steadily since 2021 as the world recovered from the impact of the pandemic. Yet the World Bank pointed out that global growth remains weak compared to past standards, as there had been an average of 3.1% annual growth in the decade before COVID-19. It is worth noting that the revised forecast also owes much to the growth in the U.S. economy, while prospects for the world's poorest nations are worrying. The agency forecasts the U.S. economy to expand 2.5% this year, the same as last year, but up sharply from the bank's previous prediction of just 1.6% in January. Meanwhile, developing economies are projected to grow 4% on average this year, slightly slower than in 2023, with the World Bank highlighting their punishing levels of debt service and constricting trade possibilities. The World Bank, in fact, has downgraded its forecast in 3 out of 4 low-income economies since January. Global inflation is expected to drop to 3.5% this year and 2.9% in 2025. But with a slower than expected pace of decline, many central banks are forecast to remain cautious over lowering interest rates. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
It is indeed a much-awaited and exciting day today for many BTS fans out there. The eldest of the seven, Jin, returns to fans after being discharged from his mandatory military service. Let's turn to Professor Sirabo CG. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me. I've just been watching some videos online of Jin's discharge and being hugged by his fellow members. It's been very emotional this morning.
I have to tell you, I just watched it before I came on air as well. Now, after being discharged from military right away, he's about to make his appearance at the 2024 Festa. Let's talk about that.
Well, all the members of BTS have always very strongly emphasized the role of their fans and their success. And Festa is this annual celebration for fans and BTS members to come together. So with Jin leaving military service this morning, he now has his first chance to touch base with fans in almost 2 years. And immediately being part of this fan event, I think it sends a really clear message to fans about their importance to him and to BTS.
Definitely. But the sad thing is, it won't be until June next year until all these seven members, reunite after serving their mandatory military service. Now, in the meantime, what can we expect from Jin as an artist?
Well, it's a little hard to answer right now, but tomorrow in the live stream address to fans, Jin's probably going to reveal something about his plans for the year. BTS members always seem to enjoy surprising fans, so it's a little hard to guess what he might do, but I think he's going to release some new music, perhaps a single album within the next few months. And I expect to hear more of his own lyrics, as he's written most of his own songs in the past. In 2022, he said he wasn't currently interested in acting, but maybe now that military service is done, maybe he's ready. Personally, I think he would be a great guest for the type of Korean TV show where stars explore Korea and enjoy tasty food while shining a light on little-known corners of the peninsula.
Right, free as a bird and just as free to thrive as an artist. Who knows what more now? The boy group 17 will be named UNESCO's Goodwill Ambassador for Youth. That's for the first time for a K-pop act to be appointed. Now, how meaningful is this?
Well, I think it's quite meaningful. Generally, the Goodwill Ambassadors from UNESCO have been single individuals, some sports stars and some actors, but this is obviously the first time that they've turned to musical stars like 17. And I think it's obvious why they went with 17. 17 participated in UNESCO's Going Together education campaign in 2022, and that supported educational activities in East Timor and Malawi. And then last November, they also participated in UNESCO's Youth Forum in Paris. So the 17 members of the group as a whole, they're really known for philanthropy. I think they're a very good match for UNESCO. And maybe some people who aren't active K-pop fans aren't as familiar with 17, but they are actually one of the most successful groups in K-pop, and they have been for several years now. They have a huge fan following. They've won a lot of awards.
Definitely.
I've personally seen them multiple times. They are so amazing.
Good for you.
The last 2023, they had 2 albums that came out. One of them sold over 5.5 million, and the other one sold over 6 million. These are the 2 highest selling K-pop albums of all time. And 17 right here is on sale right now. Their 2024 album already sold 3.5 million copies. So they're a really, really great group and a good match for UNESCO.
Sounds like they definitely deserve it. Now, before I let you go, Professor, the hottest new trending K-pop words are Newspa or A-Jeans. Now, these are the words of mixed names of K-pop girl groups, aespa and New Jeans. We have to talk about this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. So many fans have been really charmed. Simultaneously on June 8th, aespa's Ningning and Winter and New Jeans' Danielle and Hani released a dance challenge for New Jeans' latest song, How Sweet, recorded at Hybe. And aespa's Karina and Giselle and New Jeans' Minji and Hayden released a dance challenge recorded at SM for aespa's latest hit, Armageddon. It was so cute, although many people might cynically wonder if the challenges were the brainchild of management, not the performers. Their obvious enjoyment, spending time with each other, and the camaraderie instead of competition was just beautiful to see. There was actually this little extra story where Karina gave Minji a bunch of stickers that promoted Armageddon, and Minji hid them around the Hybe building, which was even more fun to hear about. This, new spa, Jin's energy really reminds fans that these young women are the same age, they're in the same industry, and even if they're competing on the charts, that doesn't mean they can't be friends in real life. And so a lot of fans look to K-pop idols not just for performances, but for life lessons. And I think that this fun and friendship is a really valuable reminder.
Really lovely tale. All right, Professor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it as always.
Have a good day.
You too. The South Korean national football team concluded the second round of the Asian qualification for the 2026 World Cup by defeating China 1-0 in front of a sold-out home crowd. Lee Seung-jae has more.
Playing in front of a sold-out crowd at the Seoul World Cup Stadium on Tuesday night, the South Korean national football team faced off against China for their final match of the second round of the Asian qualification for the 2026 World Cup. South Korea had already clinched a spot in the third round, but needed a win to guarantee being one of the top 3 seeds in Asia to avoid facing Japan or Iran in the next round. Despite dominating China in possession, the match was scoreless after the first 45 minutes. However, just past the hour mark, PSG's Lee Kang-in ran onto a loose ball in the penalty area and fired a scorcher past the Chinese goalkeeper, giving South Korea the 1-0 lead and the win. Lee has scored 3 goals in the past 2 matches and 10 in his last 15 internationals. The win for South Korea means they'll remain the 3rd highest ranked Asian team in the FIFA rankings and avoid Japan and Iran in the 3rd round of qualification. Japan and Iran are currently 18th and 20th in the FIFA ranking, with South Korea coming into Tuesday's match ranked 23rd, but only marginally ahead of Australia in 24th place using FIFA's points-based ranking system. Tuesday night's win helps the Taeguk Warriors keep the 3rd highest ranking in Asia. The June FIFA rankings will be unveiled later this month and will determine the seeding for the 3rd round, where 18 qualifying teams from the 2nd round will be drawn into 3 groups of 6. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Hopping onto a drone taxi in Seoul's Gangnam-gu district to catch a flight at Incheon International Airport could become a reality soon. Our An Sung-jin has this report.
A helicopter flies above the city of Seoul. It will soon provide the country's first helicopter shuttle service.
Urban air mobility is not yet familiar, and the necessary infrastructure is still lacking. We're looking to build the infrastructure and customer base needed for the market, and once UAM becomes prevalent, we would like to contribute to the Korean air mobility market.
Opening its reservations on Tuesday, the helicopter service will start operating in 2 weeks. Its major route, which is from Gangnam to Incheon International Airport, cuts travel time from an hour and a half down to just 20 minutes. The chopper can hold up to 8 passengers, and not only does it shuttle customers to and from the airport, but it will also provide tours. The company aims to use helicopters as a stepping stone to further develop urban air mobility. This helicopter behind me could soon be an electric vehicle takeoff and landing aircraft, as the company is rushing towards pushing South Korea to the age of the affordable urban air mobility. eVTOLs use batteries or fuel cells rather than a helicopter's typical combustion rotor engine, which helps reduce noise. Data from the Korea Agency for Infrastructure Technology Advancement shows that South Korea is looking to commercialize UAM starting from 2025 and to further integrate it by 2030. By 2040, it aims to reach $10.9 billion in terms of market value.
UAM will be a new, smart mobility solution to increase transport efficiency. However, apart from technological advancement, we also have to look at how it can be integrated into the city and our daily life as a new transportation system.
In order to establish a well-integrated UAM system, the private sector should provide transport services while the government aims to establish a traffic management system and provide the necessary infrastructure. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
Good morning, I'm Kim Xiang, and now we turn off to stories from around the world. Hunter Biden, the son of U.S. President Joe Biden, was found guilty on all 3 charges in a federal gun trial on Tuesday, making him the first child of a sitting U.S. president to receive a criminal conviction. The jury in Biden's hometown of Wilmington, Delaware, found the 54-year-old guilty after 3 hours of deliberation. Following the conviction, the president said he would accept the outcome and respect the judicial process, while Hunter Biden expresses disappointment at the verdict. Biden Jr., who has admitted to a crack cocaine addiction in the past, faced 1 charge of possessing a gun while using or under addiction to drugs, and 2 charges related to lying about the use of narcotics on a federal background check. The charges stem from the purchase of a Colt Cobra special revolver at a Delaware gun shop in October 2018. He's facing up to 25 years in prison and a fine of up to $750,000, but is expected to receive far less as a first-time offender. Sentencing is set to take place within 120 days of the verdict. Malawi's Vice President Saulos Chilima and 9 others were killed on a military plane that was found crashed after going missing on Monday, according to the country's President Lazarus Chakwera. Chakwera confirmed in a national address on Tuesday that the aircraft had been found with no survivors and all aboard had been killed, calling the crash a terrible tragedy. The aircraft went missing off the radar on Monday en route to Mzuzu Airport in the north of the country from the capital Lilongwe before it was found in a fog-cloaked forest following day. Chilima was traveling to represent the government at a former cabinet minister's funeral. Malawi will observe 21 days of mourning for Chilima and the other victims from June 11th to July 1st. A heat wave in India has led to at least 41 deaths in the eastern state of Odisha this summer, with at least 8 deaths over the past weekend. Health officials there said that a total of 159 suspected sunstroke deaths have been reported just in Odisha this summer, saying that in 41 of those cases, sunstroke was confirmed as the cause of death. India's capital region, Delhi, has already recorded its highest ever temperature at 49.9 degrees Celsius this summer, and the country has seen some 25,000 cases and 56 fatalities from suspected heat strokes from March to May, according to a local media source. And finally to Turkey, where a student was arrested last week for trying to cheat during a national university exam by creating a makeshift device that used artificial intelligence to answer exam questions. Turkish police released a clip demonstrating how the device used a shirt button camera hidden to scan the questions before sending them to artificial intelligence software using a router also hidden in a shoe. The correct answer would then be sent back through an earphone. The student was detained by the police and is in jail pending trial. One of the main suspect's partners in the crime was also detained.
Good morning. It has been a rough week with the burst of heat. Gangneung had another tropical night with even warmer overnight temperatures. And much of Korea is set to roast in sizzling heat, with temperatures to go up similar to yesterday with more regions under heat advisories. And the chance of passing rain continues. Inland parts of southern provinces could see 5 to 20 millimeters of showers along with the thunderstorms during the day, but the rest of the country will be under blazing sunshine. Meanwhile, Gyeongju had a high of 36 degrees yesterday, and today will be as hot as 35 degrees Celsius this afternoon. Seoul gets up to 31. Strong UV rays and ozone levels expected during the day, and it seems like the shade doesn't help much with higher humidity. But relief is on its way. Saturday's rain in the capital should bring slight relief. Next week should not be as bad as this week, so hang in there for a couple more days. With that in mind, let's take a look at the international weather conditions.
We thank you for watching New Day at Arirang. We'll be back tomorrow for Thursday's edition at the same time, 9 a.m. Korea time.